Hello, 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 hello. Think I'm live. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm live. Close than usual. I don't know. I'm just going live and I'm just gonna send it. All right. Hello and welcome, my friends. I don't know if Facebook's working here. All right, I am live. Okay. I'm trying to multitask because my technological skills are still in the baby making phase. Like, oh, the barber breaking voice. Anyway, this is a part two of my story. And so yesterday I got a little bit nervous because I started to share things that I never shared before, or if I have shared them, I shared in a very tight knit group. But yeah, yesterday I kind of trailed off on around the time that my brother passed away. So my brother was 5 years older than me. He was born 1985, and he passed away a week before my 11th birthday. And up until then, like, my brother and I never really got along, and I think he just, like, who wants their, younger sister around? But, country living out in Belle Isle, New Brunswick, it's kind of like, I got no one else to hang out with me. Um, but I feel like as though I always kind of took it to heart when my brother would push me away. And it was interesting in this dynamic because, as I shared yesterday, there were a few of his friends that touched me in without my permission, a non-consensual way. And at that time, I was like, fuck, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, I know that everything stopped when my brother passed away. But the thing was, is that I wanted to be a part of something, and always these things always happen when they're like within the family or within the like family circle or friends of friends, like close family friends. And so it was really unusual at this time because I knew what was happening was wrong, and I know so much now about like embodiment and like listening to the signs and signals of your body. And I think all along my body was telling me that this wasn't right. But at that time, a kid doesn't really know. They're like, I have private parts, and what are these breasts? And I'm not allowed to, everyone's like, and at that time, I mean, in the 90s, like, it was still very much cover up yourself, your private parts of yourself. Like, we didn't really have these conversations. And, like, God bless my mother. I love her to death. And she's very open about sex and stuff like that. But it was very much a conversation. I mean, not when I was 8 years old, obviously, in my teenage years, which we're getting to. It was very much like, if you're gonna have sex, and like when you start having sex, we're gonna get you on the pill, and it's good, and it's like it's fine. But there was no, and I think what led me to where I am today and the work that I am partaking in is I know that I never spoke up for myself. I never even questioned, like, do I like this? Do I not like this? Like, I didn't even know how to talk about what was going on. And because it was also the source of my community, and it was also the source of like friends and stuff like that. So I was like, it was really confusing. And yeah, I just never talked about it. And I just went along because Amanda wanted to hang out with the boys. And that's the thing. Like, I was a figure skater. I've been figure skating since I could like walk, and I was really, really good at it. So I had a super toned, youthful body, and I always got a lot of attention from like my brother's friends and like just people, and being like, oh, like, Bedard, you're that, meaning my brother. Oh, your sister's such a hottie. And like, and it was cool because, well, not that, but it was interesting because like my brother, he was yeah, kind of like an Eeyore, and he was pretty tough. And I remember like when I think he must have been in like middle school, or no, he would have been in like high school or something, and I would have been just getting into like, oh no, I was probably still in elementary school, but I was like at the high school for something. And I remember someone said something about like my body like a cat call or whatever. And someone said, don't mess with her, like that's Chris Bedard's sister. And I always really loved that protection because whether or not like my brother was like kind to me or nice to me, I knew that he always had my back because dealing with like the separation of my parents and like our house burning down in 1998 and having to like move into next door like my grandparents summer cottage, we always call it the chalet. There was like a lot of shit going on and I really felt for my brother because like I had to like share a room with my mom for a while when we lived in the kennel, like, and my brother had to share a room with a washer and dryer. And then when we moved into the chalet, like my brother slept down in the basement on some like cement blocks. Like it was fucking hard, but we made the best of it. Like we really did. And so I guess in that point of my life, I feel as though like I never really spoke up and I just channeled all my energy into like playing sports and like having fun because who wanted to talk about sexual things that are going on that like I'm curious about, but like I'm are really like a hard no, like body saying like no. My parents building splitting up, like trying to figure out where we're gonna live and all of that stuff. It was like my problems. I didn't want to bring them to the table. And I remember thinking that I was like, as a little girl, I was like, my problems don't matter. Like there's bigger issues going on in life. And so yeah, Amanda learned really at a really young age, and I had like two of my role models, like my dad and my grandfather, like having that masculine, because they'd always take me on adventures and like teach me how to build shit and like swing a hammer and build tree houses and like shoot guns, BB guns, not guns. Having them, it was funny when I hurt myself, they'd be like, shh, don't cry, don't cry. And like I remember my dad like cut my finger one time and like bleeding all over the place. He just shoved it in his mouth. And so I grew up with this, your problems don't matter. Your body is like trying to tell you mixed signals, but you're not listening to it. And it just doesn't matter. And yeah, it was fucking tough. And, navigating these feelings was a journey. It was really, and God bless my mother for dealing with me after my brother passed away and the house burnt down and we moved into the chalet. And then, oh yeah, and I forgot, like between 1998 and like 2000, like my dad tried to move back in with us. And then there was just one day where he just left and he walked right by me, got into his truck and like stormed off. And so I know I'm mixing these timelines up, but forgive me. This is my storytelling charm. Um, but one thing I knew is that sports and using my body, like truly pushing it, and like because I had the background of my dad and my grandpa being like, you're okay. Like, you're not hurt. Like, suck it up. Let's go. And they never said suck it up, but that was like basically what they were teaching me. It bred a perfect chemical concoction for like a sports person because I used to figure skate like a hockey player. I used to skate like a speed skater, launch myself into the air, land sometimes, fall most of the time, smash myself into the boards, and I got a lot of success and I loved it and it was free and it was my saving haven. It was like that one place where I was seen, where I could express myself, where I could feel the limits of my body and I could just be in the moment. And when I was skating, the world just drifted away. But then, as things do, and as teenage girls progress and grow over time, we hit middle school and we get kind of into boys, but like super shy. And then and then I met, and I love this because I love to get to this part. I met this girl, Sarah Alcorn, and she was a year older than me. We had a split class. I think we met in grades 6 and 7 or 7 and 8. I don't really know. Anyway, when I met her, and if any of you guys know who I'm talking about, she is the most social, the most talkative, just self confident person. Like me, I was always scared of people. I was always so shy and I was just scared of people. But she was just like a people person. She still is to this day a people person. She could talk the pants off of anyone and hold conversation. And she's just amazing. And when I met her, we just clicked. And from then on out, like it was wild. We spent so much time together. And I'm actually leaving out another really, really important person, but maybe I'll come back to her. But yeah, she really helped me come out of my shell. If it weren't for her, I probably would have never, ever, ever, ever gone to any sort of high school party, ever, middle school party. Anyway, um, but she was my wing woman, and we had so much fun. And I remember when I was like 14. I would have been about 14. I remember she was like, "Come on, we're going to this party and it's down at this like cabin and it's cool because my mom's a school teacher. My mom knows and has taught like most of the people that I used to hang out with back then." And so we went to this party and it was so funny because I remember being petrified because like when you're a young teenager and you have all these, you're like, oh my god, that guy's like so hot, and like, oh my god, then like you turn yourself inside out because like it's like the end of the world if you have to talk to them. And so I drank, and I drank some coolers, and someone gave me a beer, and then the next thing you know is I'm shotgunning a beer, and I beat my friend Sarah, and I got absolutely shit bomb wasted. But alcohol gave me the ability to have a conversation, the ability to talk to these people that were so intimidating because and now I know that it's trauma. Like it was trauma. I had so much residual trauma from like the things that happened and it's not even like I don't even want to say it's that bad, but like I was molested, not raped. Do you know what I mean? And either way, big trauma, small trauma, it was still trauma for my nervous system. And so as a young teenager, this was coming out and I was super afraid and I did not feel safe. And I did not feel safe in my own body, but alcohol it opened up the door for me to not let my guard down, but to be someone else and to be exuberant and to be funny and to talk to all these people and to be really conversational. But my passion in life up until this point was figure skating and drinking on the weekends and going out and spending so much time partying and like around the rugby boys. It was a recipe for like disaster, and it was really, 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 really fucking hard for me to let go of um, figure skating. But then, because my grandfather's a rugby player and my dad's a hockey player, I think like deep down they always wanted me to like play rugby. And at this point, I was like, well, rugby players drink a lot, and then they do like the bitch of the pitch or player of the game, and then they do this like exchanging thing, and they do boat races, and they do flip cup, and they play all these drinking games, and it seems like it'd just like be a lot easier if I could just like let go of figure skating and just like take on rugby. And like I said, it's an odd combination, but figure skating is actually like an epic prerequisite to playing rugby because you have to be disciplined, you have to know how to like take on a lot of pressure yourself, and thrash and hurt your body. And I was, like I said, I was that figure skater. When I got into rugby, I was like, pressure is off. Like, you guys have 15 players. Y'all get to share the stress and the anxiety, and you get to work together and play and like get smashed and tackled was like not a problem on my end at all. So I took to rugby like, I don't know, a horse to water. I don't know, but it was like second nature to me, and it was like I could take all my anger, all of my aggression, and I could channel it into smashing chicks and scoring tries, and it was just like I am free. Like it was actually freedom. And one of the cool things about it is because even though underneath it, like, and people probably don't even know this, but I was like so shy. Like I'm still at this point, I'm so fucking shy. And playing rugby gave me a sense of like stardom. And anyway, moving forward, and I will mention, actually, I wasn't going to mention her, but I will mention her. But like, there was this girl, Rachel Duffley, in high school before Sarah, and I've known her for years and years and years. Any project, any group thing, anything that we got to do with another person in high school, I did it with her. And she was a fellow Sagittarian, December 3rd, and she was honestly, she annoyed the shit out of me, but she was the best. And she was the best rugby trainer. We went so far and did so many things together. And yeah, in grade 11, when I remember we had this tournament, like Rosse Rugby Fest or something like that. I remember I got scouted for St. FX University, and meeting Mike Kavanaugh was like, okay, it was a realization that I could actually take this sport and I could run with it, and it will always be my sense of freedom, and will always be my saving grace, and I will always be strong enough, and I will always be fast enough to make it to the top. And I was like, without a doubt, in my brain, this was the only thing I thought about, and it was rugby. Um, because in my mind I had energetically let go of figure skating, because I was like, if I can have the stardom and like the praise and like share the stress with 15 like 14 other players on the rugby team, well, teams are bigger than that, but whatever, this seems a lot easier and a lot more fun. And that's the thing, figure skating got to a point where it just wasn't fun anymore. And yeah, that was my dream. And I was going to become a star rugby player. And grade 12, when Sarah left, like, it was a really interesting year. And I traveled a lot to her university to party with her. But yeah, there was this combination of excessive binge drinking, channeling all my anger into rugby and smashing people, and then just doing pretty good in school. And I will say that I am an epic crammer. I am an epic, like, I'm an epic mediocre student. I I think I'm a Jane of all trades. I get the concept of a lot of different things. But yeah, I remember in grade 12, like, oh, I don't know if I want to go into this, but yeah, I in grade 12, I really, 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 with all of this start, with all of like the rugby and all of the I know where I'm going and I know what I'm doing and like applying for university and stuff, I extremely neglected my body. I really neglected my body. I would put myself through so much pain. I would stay on the field when I should not have been on the field. And it's really interesting because I think about it now and I'm like, wow, I trained myself. I trained my body not to trust me. Like I have been paying for this for a really long time. And so I think I'm gonna leave the university years to tomorrow because I'm already at like 18 minutes. Wow, I can just gab, it just goes. Um, but yeah, if I am to reflect on anything in those high school days, was that I was an extremely shy person. It took me a lot to warm up to people, and um, when I found alcohol, I found the vehicle to which I could like access relaxation. I could access the courage to talk to other people, and all the while, and this is why I think it's just so important, and I think this is why I've ended up where I've ended up, and like in the stuff that I've ended up in, like, and it's crazy because like I even though I was like so scared, I always took like the captain role. I always was like the team therapist. I was always super encouraging, and I always like amped up the girls and like created like, whenever we, shat the bed and made a bad play, I'd be like, come on, this is not the end of the world. We're better than this. Like, let's go. Like, I've always been that motivational kind of person. But the interesting part of this is that I was deeply afraid deeply scared, deeply shy, deeply nervous to connect with other people. Because underneath that all, if I connect with someone like on a deeper level, they're going to take something from me. And I had this story in my head where guys are always there to take something from me, right? So this conversation around sex and pleasure, it was just like, it was kind of like a no, I don't really care. But I was very, very adamant with like my self pleasure and, pleasing myself and stuff, even at a young age. But because of this residual trauma, I had a really hard time, like when people talk about like, oh yeah, high school, I like hooked up with so many people and all this. Like, it was not me. Not me, not even me in university until like my second year and all that. But we'll get in that too tomorrow. But um, thank you for tuning in to part 2 of my story. I cannot believe that was just 20 minutes. I just want to say that if you are watching this or if you have watched this, put a little heart in the comment or tell me something about your experience that you've had um, going through your years of growth and stuff like that. But it's interesting because I can see like there's 2 people watching here, I have no idea who they are, and I have like 2 people watching over here and I have no idea. And it really helps me to want to make more content here, or I just want to feel connected. That's the thing, is I am sharing a part of my story and I really want to feel connected. So send me some hearts and send me some love, and share something about like, yeah, that resonated, and or thank you for sharing or anything. It really helps me to want to keep creating this content and sharing slabs of my heart with you. Okay. Much love. Love ya. Take it easy. Remember to rest and remember to always speak from your heart. And